All right, guys, we are on our third episode of which weapon is going to be the best, and this episode is about melee classes. So we've got 4 melee classes. We've got the Thrasher, we've got the Berserk, we've got the Protector, and we've got the Duelist. I'm going to add the Duelist in this episode because it just has become one of the melee classes. It follows all the same rules as the melee classes, and so we're going to cover it like that. So there's a lot of new weapons. First, let's talk about some of the old weapons. The worst purple weapon is the Protector Spear. It is the pay-to-win weapon, like the ultimate pay-to-win weapon, because you can buy it from the shop. And but it's one of the worst purple weapons with a 50 DPS and no abilities, no benefits to the weapon. After that, you've got the Fire Axe, which the Fire Axe is a weapon that used to be a blue, but it's now a purple. And it's got a 40 DPS, but it's in some ways better than the Protector Spear, more useful than the Protector Spear, because it does that cone of attack, allowing you in PvE to do damage to multiple enemies, and technically PvP, but it's pretty hard to pull off. After that, you have the Cleaver, which is 58 DPS and still has that cone of attack that we were just talking about with the Fire Axe. So it is more of a true purple weapon right here. But it will be a good weapon for people to use in the context of PvE or group settings. If you can guarantee attacking multiple people at the same time, it's gonna stay the best weapon available to you. After that, we've got several other purple weapons. Some of the old school ones is the Giant's Hammer, which has a DPS of 54, but the Giant's Hammer has a chance to stun someone for 2 seconds. So it has been a viable weapon I don't know if it's ever been the best. Has the Giant's Hammer ever been the best weapon to use, or has it just always been a viable weapon to use?
Just a viable weapon, never the best.
All right, yeah, that's been my impression as well. So it's been a viable weapon, but it's never technically been the best weapon. And then the last of the classics is the Nord Sword and Shield, which, even though its DPS goes down to 50, it gives you 18 armor, and it allows you to block 5 damage with a 50% chance. And then if you're the Protector, that gets tripled into blocking 15 damage. So the Nord Sword and Shield is definitely the original best weapon for the Protector. But a lot has changed. And a lot has changed even before this episode. We've got, or before this update, we've got the Dragon's Shield and Sword, which has 52 DPS, more armor, and it has an aura of armor. So it ended up replacing the Nord Sword and Shield as the new best weapon for the Protector. You've got the Skull Claws, which have a DPS of 67.7% plus a plus 15% damage to players, making it a very viable. I mean, we're talking about over 70 DPS, which is an amazing weapon, which is good because honestly, the way to get Skull Claws is to kill the hardest boss in the game. And then the last purple weapon is the Dragon Sword, which has become the ultimate. I would say it's become the ultimate until this update. It's become the ultimate PvE weapon, PvP weapon. Sorry. Or at least the staple PvP weapon, because it has a really strong attack. So not only does it have a high DPS, but you can see that 72 DPS, that 72 damage, that allows you, if you get a sneak attack, to multiply a lot of damage. It allows it every hit to make a big difference. And so the Dragon Sword is the sword you see a lot in PvP, but it's actually not necessarily the best one. There's a few other weapons. The Thor's Axe, which I don't have. What is the DPS on the Thor's Axe, Jay?
77.5.
So, but its attack is what? Its normal attack?
The normal attack is 62.
Okay, so the Thor's Axe is a little bit lower damage, which in Frostborn, it's really important to get, each hit to count more. And so even if the DPS is higher on one weapon, if you can get a really good hit, sometimes that's more meaningful. So the Thor's Axe has a little bit of a lower on that damage than the Dragon Sword, but it's got a higher DPS, and the Thor's Axe also has a chance of stunning the enemy. So that makes a big difference. I don't have the Thor's Axe on the DPS, on the OBT, so I had to get Jay to tell me the numbers. You got the Emperor Sword, which has 48 damage and then a 60 DPS, so it really goes down a lot. But in PvE, the fact that a 15% chance of it doing up to 10% of a target's health is very powerful. They did just nerf this significantly. They nerfed it to where it caps out at an enemy with 3,000 hit points. Obviously, you can attack something with more than 3,000 hit points, but it basically doesn't get any more affected. It caps out at doing 300 damage, 15% chance of doing 300 damage. That is a huge blow to, people were able to just do crazy damage to Gorgon and enemies like that, and then they would reset them, and they do that. That is all now. When Season 8 goes live, that's all gone now, and it's limited to 300. Part of the reason they did that is because with the Golem, the sword would be doing 39,000 damage when that would proc, and so they couldn't have that happen. Makes sense that they changed it. And then the last weapon that you guys may already be familiar with is the Thor's Axe and Shield, which is another legendary weapon. It is the new ultimate protector weapon. And then it says while 35% with a 35% chance reflects 25% of damage to the attacker. So it really hurts the attacker, and but it still has a 66 DPS. Gives you an aura, you and your teammates an aura of 6 armor, blocks at a 6, so even better. And then gives you personally 21 armor. It's just absolutely incredible. This weapon just basically incredibly buffed the Protector. It was clearly the best weapon for the Protector. But with this update,
reflects that it pops off a lot too. Like I noticed when I'm hitting them when I'm Fire Mage, I'm constantly taking damage, and you'll even see like runed out Thrashers and Duelists running around with that weapon now too.
It's crazy. It is a really powerful weapon. It established a very clear lead as the best weapon for the Protector, and like Ruckus was just saying, the Thrasher and the Berserk doesn't really get much play, but the Thrasher and Duelist are starting to use it just because it's such a phenomenal weapon. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get hit by. All right, I'm definitely getting attacked by a real player. So let's see if I can't survive this real quick. All right, got away. That's a testament to this shield. I was not prepared. I'm not even a protector, and that guy realized I need to get out of here. So I'm gonna hold this up for a little bit just while I'm talking about all these weapons so that I don't get attacked while I'm not really paying attention. So that is I just covered all the weapons that before season 8 have already been in play and kind of explained a little bit. Basically, you're seeing a lot of Dragon Sword, and then you're seeing some Thor's Axe, and you're seeing some Thor's Axe and Shield. That's been a lot of the play. Every once in a while, you'll see a Cleaver. Every once in a while, you'll see a Dragon Shield and Sword, just because the Thor Axe and Shield is rare. Every once in a while, you'll see a Skull's Claw because it has good DPS. But that's kind of been the play up until this point. But now we're going to start talking about how Season 8 is changing Frostborn. And so the first weapon we're going to talk about is the Freya's Mace. The Freya's Mace has 63 attack, so not quite as good as the D Sword as far as initial attack, but its DPS is 70 versus the DPS of 65.5. And then every 5th strike immobilizes the target for 0.5 seconds. So I'm curious what you guys think about this weapon. Is it gonna replace the D Sword? Is it gonna replace the Thor's Axe or Thor's Axe? Immobilizing is not nearly as good as the stun of the Thor's Axe, but every 5th strike. I don't know. What do y'all think?
I don't think 0.5 is really a lot. I think Thor's Axe and Claws and Dragon Swords are still going to be up top 3.
What do you think, Ruckus?
I think there could be a place for it in team, but not on solo.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you guys. I think that immobilization is cool, but only when it's a long period of time. Like the bowl is awesome because it's 4 seconds, but a 0.5 second immobilization, I think a lot of people aren't even going to realize that they were hit by it because they're going to, usually be strafing. So if you hit them, they're going to be shooting you for a second or for a half a second, and then they're going to run away, and they're not even going to realize, oh, I was immobilized for that moment, but I was attacking them anyway, so it didn't matter. 70 DPS. What's the DPS of the Thor's Axe, Jay?
Normal damage is 62, DPS is 77.
Yeah, so the Freya's Mace does not really compare at all with the Thor's Axe. The Thor's Axe stuns versus an immobilization, and I mean, even if you've tried to factor in the Freya's combat staff, which does more damage to an immobilization, it's going to be really hard to time it with that half a second every 5 strikes. So I think the Freya's Mace is pretty weak for a legendary weapon, at least compared to the other legendary weapons. I mean, it's better than the Emperor Sword, but the Emperor Sword's more of a PvE weapon anyways. So yeah, I think that nothing's going to change as far as the best weapons for the Thrasher, for the Duelist, and for the Berserk. No one really plays the Berserk, but we're covering all the classes. So I would say that I don't think anything's going to change. But now let's talk about the Freya's Shield and Sword. The Freya's Shield and Sword has a 67 DPS, so compared to the Thor's Axe and Shield, it's a little bit more DPS. It's got 21 armor, the same. It's got a 7 block, which for a protector that means a 21. It blocks 21. It has an aura of 7 armor, which is a little bit more than the Thor's Axe and Shield, which has an aura of 6. But instead of the reflecting damage, it has this thing where it says every 3 strikes blocked, the Freya's roots deal 5 damage in an area for 2 seconds. So what I think that means is, and we can go ahead and equip it and go into the zone and see if we can't find a fight or find someone to attack us and kind of see exactly what it means. But what I think that means is that they're going to be rooted for 2 seconds.
Not take any damage at all.
And that would be immobilizing someone, immobilizing people that shoot you for 2 seconds is better. So let's see what happens. That was 2 blocks, 3 blocks. He's immobilized for 2 seconds.
Oh wow!
Holy crap!
These are stuns to the opponent.
Wow, this is amazing. Okay, that was insane. I think this is broken because it was blocking every time. It wasn't 50% chance.
Oh wow!
That
Does it block multiple people at once too, or like say you bring it to a team fight? Is it gonna block like say the whole team's hitting the tank? Will it block the whole team, or does it do one block?
All right, I'm trying to figure. So it doesn't seem to be an every third strike. It seems to be just a randomly 30% of the time. Now I'm getting some more times where they're actually hitting me. So, let's see. I'm just kind of playing around with this. I'm immobilizing them quite a bit. And okay, that's interesting. That time I immobilized him, even though I didn't actually get a block.
That with the Freya staff and team PvP can be deadly.
Yeah, I mean,
For
honestly,
a whole 2 seconds too. That can be broken.
yeah, I think that this is really powerful because basically I think this is gonna be the new best weapon for the Protector, even though the Thor's axe and shield reflects damage, which is amazing, but you can still use a damage reflect.
Yeah.
And so with this weapon, and so I would say a damage reflect with this weapon, you're gonna go in, people are gonna attack you, and they're gonna really struggle to, like, if you want to get away, you're gonna be able to get away because they're gonna do, you've got crazy good armor buffs, you've got really good blocking, and when they do every 6 attack, it looks like more than that, but the numbers they say on the shield, every 6 attack they're going to be immobilized for 2 seconds. So if you're trying to run away from someone, they're going to have no chance to keep up with you, and that could divide a team if they're trying to focus on you. But then when you're talking about attacking someone, the idea of going in and doing your taunt reflect, the typical Protector move, you're going to be immobilizing them a ton, and then that with the Freya combat staff doing that extra 25% damage to immobilize targets, man, that's going to create, I don't think it's necessarily broken, but it is going to make it, I think this might replace the Thor's axe and shield as the new
New main tank weapon for sure.
the new main tank weapon, because it has that extra 3 damage blocked, that extra armor aura, and the DPS is just 1 extra, but it is a little bit higher DPS. It's comparable. I'm not saying it's a guaranteed. If someone has a Thor's axe and shield and a Freya's a sword and shield, they're going to be like definitely Freya. But it's definitely. I think it's an edge above it. So, can y'all think of any other scenarios in which being able to immobilize a Protector, being able to immobilize someone for 2 seconds every 6 times they get hit is going to make a big difference in the game?
With team PvP and with that Freya staff, man, that could be really good. That's you're gonna see a lot of people running that for sure. Because that they're gonna hit the tank, but then that's just going to lead to a lot of people completely ignoring the tank again. Like before, no one really targeted the tank, and then all of a sudden people is hitting the tank. This weapon is bringing it back to where people can't just melt the tank. You can't run that strat anymore. Because if you do, and they have a Freya staff too, you're just going to get immobilized, and that Freya staff's going to lay into you for so much damage.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. So you
Yeah.
got that. It's going to make the Freya staff even more valuable if you've got the Freya sword and shield with the Freya staff working together.
Mhm.
If people try to target the tank, you are going to just melt their face off. And
Exactly.
if they don't target the tank, then he's going to taunt reflect you, and they're going to melt your face off.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that, and honestly, I'm a little excited about it. I
I like it too because it's bringing back like the old school PvP. Like we just, I mean, we didn't start it too long ago, but another server did, I think. But you know, we started the melt the tank strat,
Yeah,
and before, like no one ever really did that. It was
Yeah.
you know, you always went for the archers or the healer.
yeah,
So it's kind of bringing that back, and I like it.
yeah. I think that this update is definitely bringing the healer back,
Yeah.
and which will be interesting. I think it is going to make the protector mage combo a little bit stronger. It's going to increase some of that. All right, so to conclude this episode, it sounds like the Freya's Mace isn't going to really change PvP for the Thrasher, Duelist, or the Berserk. It's not going to really add. It's not really going to replace anything in the game. The D sword is probably more preferable than the Freya's Mace, and the axe, Thor's axe, is definitely more preferable than the Freya's Mace. Would you agree?
I would, yeah.
But the okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna mention the Duelist actually.
Okay.
It's very OP in rate defense in my opinion,
Okay.
which gives an opportunity, you know, for people to actually defend. But I feel like it's too OP. As you know, you can't dispel out of the hook. So if they connect that pole, then you are guaranteed basically dead in a rate defense. Ruckus and I thought that it would probably be better if they made a little bit of a change to where you can either dispo out of a hook or something where it just completely changes it so it's not guaranteed, because it ruins rating a lot. It made rating a lot harder.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to fight
No
this
No problem, no problem.
guy who is probably gonna get away, but it's amazing that he just attacked me. I've got the Freya. I went ahead and switched over to Protector, which I'm glad I did. And I'm seeing. Oh, I don't have my damage reflect potion, which makes the Protector kind of hard to kill anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna be able to kill this guy, but I wish I had my. I wish I had a damage reflect. I could kill this guy pretty easy. But sorry, I just he was an assassin with a fire dagger, and he literally could not kill me, which felt good. So sorry, say that again.
Duelist is OP from the hook since it's guaranteed in rate defense.
Oh
in
yeah.
In our opinions. So it's made rating basically impossible if people are running Duelist, which everybody is. They are running single Duelist, and now since there's kind of a minor counter to it, Shaman, they are running two Duelist. So Ruckus and I were hoping that they'd make changes sooner or later that they will allow you to dispel out of a hook. Which wouldn't technically make Duelist useless. I don't know. Actually,
Yeah.
it might make it useless. Who knows? But it also depends on the reaction time, so it still gives them a chance as well.
I mean, it's a good suggestion in the sense that if you make it to where you can dispel out of a hook, it's partially based on your reaction time, and they're still going to pull you some way, and you're also baiting a dispel. So,
Right.
and if it makes the duelist not as good, then they can just rebuff the duelist because they already nerfed the duelist. They can just rebuff the duelist as far as like how fast he throws the hook, or basically you can tweak it. But
Right.
yeah, okay, well then, I'll mention that as just so hopefully the devs hear that and say, okay, maybe we can tweak the duelist a little bit if they agree. Honestly, I don't do a lot of rating nowadays, so I don't know. I don't have personal experience what you're talking about, but it does make sense that, I mean, the duelist is so powerful. I really enjoy playing the duelist. And I've gotten pretty good at it as far as like throwing the hook at the right time. Man, if that guy killed me right now, he would get 4 legendaries and and 8 purples. I'm glad that this Freya's sword and shield is keeping me safe. So that would have been really bad if he had. Earlier, I was the Thrasher, and I was kind of worried I was gonna die, but turned out okay. So
Well, I'm hoping they also buff that the mace, the Freya's mace, because it is really it needs a rework as well. Really, really weak.
yeah, I mean, here's the thing: it's not so horrible that if someone has a Freya's mace, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, it's a worthless weapon," Like,
Right.
it's still got a higher DPS than the Dragon Sword, and it has a skill that, is significant. Immobilizing someone for 0.5 seconds is not much. But it's not. Yeah, I'm okay with not every legendary weapon always being the new best weapon, but it's. What is the Lord doing? This guy is like. He's just sitting here. So I'm okay with not every legendary weapon being the new best weapon. It is what is nice in my mind is that it is a good enough weapon to be considered. Okay, I guess helping your father while being AFK pays off. Hi.
What?
I have no clue. Is he talking about my son farming for me?
Possibly.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. You see, I don't know what's happening. Anyways, but I am excited about the Freya's sword and shield. I feel like it is not crazy OP like some of these other weapons we're talking about that clearly overpower their counterpart.
Yeah.
Say hi to YouTube. So yeah, so basically at the end of the day, this is kind of a more simple episode. The Freya's Mace isn't going to change things. Oh, one more question, Frey. Do you think, or sorry, I just called you Frey instead of Jay. Do you think that the Freya's sword and shield will be used by Thrashers, Duelists, and Berserk? We don't need to talk about Berserk.
It can. I think it will be used. It immobilizes every 3 hits, correct?
I think it's every 6 hits, but it feels like every 3 hits.
Well, that's no problem. Which, if they're going against a mage, fast hitting Wrathstaff or Thor, etc., etc. Now Thrashers and Duelists, when they are stunned, they equip Shorted Shield, like it's a Nord or a Dragon, to get that extra armor.
I
So-
see what you're saying.
Yeah, if they're running that, it could actually be a decent change in melee Thrasher and Duelist as well.
Okay.
'Cause- Yeah,
That's
it'll-
interesting.
yeah.
So basically, if you're Duelist or Thrasher, it might be beneficial to have a Freya's Sword and Shield. So if you're getting attacked from range, you're going to be immobilizing them, close that gap. And honestly, the new weapon has a higher DPS than the Dragon Sword. So it may not be quite the DPS, the 77 DPS of the Axe and Shield, but with all that extra armor, getting an extra 28 armor and then a 50% chance to block 7, even though you don't get the 21 that a Protector would get, you're still blocking some damage half the time. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. It'll do good justice to Thrasher and Duelist when they are stunned.
So would you say that the Freya's Sword and Shield is the new best weapon, or would you just say it will be in use?
Since it's doing more damage than a Dragon Sword or even Claws, it can be the new best weapon. Yeah.
Okay, well, compare it to the Thor's Axe and Shield, because it's going to be as rare as the Thor's Axe. Or sorry, the Thor's Axe. It's going to be as rare as that one. The Thor's Axe has that 77 DPS. The Freya's Shield and Sword has 67. So is the 28 armor and the 7 block every half time better than that extra 10 DPS? What is your opinion?
I think it will be better than that 10 DPS. It's just too much to overlap that damage.
No, I think you might be right. So I think that I started this episode thinking, oh, only the Protectors changed. But I think as we've been talking, I'm realizing the Freya's Sword and Shield might replace the new best weapon for all melee classes, which would be crazy. So he says taunt doesn't make people attack you. Whoa, he's right. There's a glitch. Wow.
In OBT or in right
OBT, the taunt does, and the fear. Oh my gosh.
now?
The fear, the shaman's fear and the protector's taunt doesn't work right now. It messes you up, but it.
What does
So
it
does
do?
it stun you? Question mark. Can you run away when I taunt you? Question mark. Oh my gosh, this is. Oh, I just said touch you. That's awkward. Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna taunt him. Alright. Try to run away when I taunt you. Not touch you. Taunt. Okay, so he can't run away, but the taunt isn't working, so a taunt reflect wouldn't actually pan out. Crazy, period. I'm so glad you showed this to me. Fear me again, please.
Does it just make you stand still?
Yeah, you just stand still. Alright, he's gonna fear me and I'm gonna try to run towards him. or run away from him. I'm just going to try to do anything. That's a bug for sure. Well, I'm sure they'll fix that. That really screws up those skills. All right, yeah, I can't move. So, wow. Okay, that actually might make the shaman more powerful. You basically stun them for however many seconds. They can't do anything. But the protector, that sucks because you're well, I don't know. Maybe it's not bad. You just have to think about it differently. You're stunning everyone instead of taunting everyone. Hopefully they'll fix it, but if they don't, then you have to think about it as a stun. So a group stun is amazing, but like if you don't have a reflect potion, you know, it's pretty amazing to be able to go up to a team and stun all of their entire team, and not take damage. So that's weird. Okay, well, hopefully they'll fix that. They'll probably fix that. All right, guys. Well, that is it. This is kind of a plot twist type of episode because I thought that it was going to be only the protector changes, but in reality, it seems like the best weapon, potentially the best weapon for all classes, is going to be the Freya's shield and sword. It is definitely the best for protector. It is arguably the best for the other ones. And then if it is not the best for the other ones, then you're just gonna stick back to normal, because the Freya's mace, even though it is still worthy of being called a legendary, is not enough to compare, not enough to break anything in the current system. You might see them, but it's not gonna really change the game of Frostborn. All right, guys. See you next time.